It's Val's fault.
I know, I see that. I didn't want to call Val out for that. So we're here every Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock with Cinematique. Great venue. Thank them for hosting us. And come see some of their movies or some of their comedy shows. They do a lot of cool stuff every week. Got to thank Volusia County Economic Development. They are our sponsor. They help pay for the venue here and for us to do this event. So thank them. We've got a bunch of volunteers. Where's Carl? I can't see with the light here. So Carlos is out there. Val is out there, Charlie's out there, and I'm Tom Jordan, so I'm going to be your host this morning. And Casey's out somewhere.
Casey and Sean.
Casey and Sean couldn't make it today, so you get me instead. Sorry about that. So, for those of you who are new, how many people are new here today? First time ever. Oh, good deal, and they're all sitting in the back. You think we're not going to call you out if you're sitting in the back, right? We're going to come up. Here's how the program works. We're going to have a local business here, do a presentation about their business, talk about what they do, what challenges they face, and then, so they do that for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then what we're going to do is, we're going to open up to full discussion. So if you have comments, if you have ideas, if you have any thoughts, if you can help the business, let them know. So what we're going to do is we'll walk around with the microphone. Raise your hand. Let us know that you want to do something, have a conversation or whatever with the presenter, and we'll get the microphone over to you. So we are out of here by 10 o'clock. That's the deadline. So we'll probably finish up about 9:45. If you have any networking you want to do, you can do it then. And we're going to get right into it. Any questions? We're good to go? So we have a regular here. She's been coming here, gosh, for years and years. We've seen her since this program started here in Daytona. Great friend, great member of the 1MC community. So she's going to talk about her business today. And let me introduce Cain Tyler with TCT Advantage. Come on up.
My age has similar moments. Good morning, and thank you for being here today. I said I'm Cain Tyler.
Terry.
Okay, there, okay. Thank you for being here. I'm Cain Tyler with TCT Advantage. This is my information here. I'm a resident native of Daytona. I ran away when I was 19, came back after I retired, and started a business. So how did I get here to where I am now? Well, when I came back to Daytona, I found myself 63 years old and alone again. I knew that I had been a legal shield associate for a number of years, and I said, okay, we need to go ahead and do something and not sit around and play, Candy Crush and eat all day. So I'm going to talk about my entrepreneurial journey, and it has been a journey. So between 1973 and 2003, I was an intermodal transit and rail specialist with Florida DOT. I helped several of our administrative assistants transition over from clerical to an engineering technician position, and I'm proud to say that 2 of them, when they retired as non-degree engineers. So in 2009, my partner's niece came over from Guam, and that really changed our life. She had him go to Orlando to a business briefing put on by Prepaid Legal Services, which has now been rebranded as Legal Shield. When he came back from that meeting, all of a sudden I found out that my identity was stolen, and I was signed up to be a Legal Shield associate and had a legal service plan. Legal Shield has a tried and true method for their program and everything, but he thought he could do it better. So he did not want to do group enrollments or anything that required him to go beyond just selling the plan and evaporating. So it never went anywhere. And like I said, that was in 2009. In 2014, he went back to Guam without me. So I decided, okay, you've got to do something. I looked around, there were Legal Shield associates at the London Chamber, at the Port Orange South Daytona Chamber, but nobody at Daytona. Well, growing up here in Daytona, when Beach Street was a thriving business district, when you saw the Chamber logo on the door as you walked in, that meant something to me. And I said, someday I'm gonna have a business and I'm gonna be able to put that logo out. So I joined the Daytona Chamber. That was one of the best decisions I had made business-wise. I'm cutting out a lot of stuff. So fast forward, I tried several different things with Legal Shield. I tried to go ahead and cold call people or call people I knew through the chamber, but dang, that phone was heavy. I just could not bring myself to do those calls because I felt I was intruding their life if I went ahead and tried to ask for business. I tried a letter writing campaign. I identified 127 assisted living facilities in Volusia County, and each of them got a personalized letter from me offering to come in there and talk with their clients and talk about Legal Shield, but better yet, I offered free, no obligation workshops on the importance of having a will and advance directives in which they could fill out a form and take it away, take it to an attorney of their choice to have their will and advance directives either made or updated. I also, through different networking groups with the ALS, went ahead and offered a little 30-minute presentation on what's your ID Theft IQ. It's a little 5-question true false questionnaire, and when they look at the answers, it gave them resources to look for things. Just as an example, one thing was you need to do your annual credit report, but don't go to annualcreditreport.com. You'll end up paying for it. You want to go to the annual credit report for the government. And with that, don't do all 3 of your credit reports at one time. Spread them out through the year so you have a snapshot throughout the year. And because you're entitled to 1 report from each of the 3 bureaus per year. Like I said, when I joined the chamber, I became a chamber ambassador. And so I've met a lot of people out there and people know in the community as a serial volunteer. Lori laughs and everything. She knows that when she needs somebody to do something, she can call on me and I'll volunteer. I also ended up as a volunteer docent at the Consulate Historical Museum and the Consulate Lighthouse. This community means so much to me. Okay, anyway, back in 2017, Cain Tyler, no Aerosmith, came walking into a weekly chamber networking meeting. And my life changed forever. Steve became my mentor. And all I can say about him is he believed in me when I didn't believe myself. He knew that I could do this. When I joined the chamber to do Legal Shield, I had no business experience. I had no experience as an entrepreneur. I didn't know what I was doing. And he helped and guided me. A couple of years later, I became Mrs. Tyler. Hence, he said, you need to keep your name recognition. Everyone knew me as Terry Cain. He says, now add the Tyler to it, and became Terry Cain Tyler. And at his encouragement, I established my LLC as I expanded my book of business. And a lot of people now just call me TCT. So technically, Legal Shield was a home-based business, and so by doing the LLC, that gave me more opportunity to branch out. After Steve's passing in 2022, a friend of mine at Legal Shield, who also is a senior marketing director with World Financial Group, encouraged me to get my state insurance licenses, what I did, and we were working together on that. He was really focused in on doing one product only, which was an index year's life policy. Not interested in health, not interested in any annuities or anything. He just wanted the big ticket item. That's not me. I want to work with somebody who really needs some help. That's where my happiness is. It's not in, what the checking account says. It's seeing the smile on somebody's face and knowing that I've helped them accomplish something. So without Steve, I wouldn't be here today. And you see, I went ahead, I wrote stuff down so that I wouldn't forget things. Recently, through Jeff, I went ahead and asked for an introduction to his, Owner's Choice, to Lisa at Owner's Choice Benefits. Thinking I would go ahead and ask her if she wanted to expand her book of business to include Legal Shield. Well, I'm now an agent under Owner's Choice. And my journey has taken many twists and turns, but what I look at is from my knowledge of Legal Shield, I saw a need for the insurances. And on the insurances, I saw with Lisa the fact that, you know, some of the smaller non-big ticket items such as Medicare and Aflac really can put me out there to help more people. So I've only been on that part of the journey now for about 6 weeks. Like I said, through this entire process, my challenges have been, how do I go ahead and turn my friends and the acquaintances I've made through the chamber and through this group into clients? Excuse me, I'm having a moment. I know that I can help them with things, and even if I'm not selling them a product, there's other ways that I can help them, but I want to be able to offer them something. So my challenge is, how can I go ahead and start turning acquaintances and business connections really into clients? Like I said, the cold calling was, or even to my warm market calling, was very difficult for me. I've not really put any marketing out there so much as I have, like, to put the magazine out. I know there's another thing I forgot here. Instead of looking for what approaches would be effective in this group, should I consider another letter writing campaign? Should I look at Google Ads or whatever? There's a possibility of, through my association with NowSite, to create different funnels. But even with that, I find myself, once I get the client and they're ready to go for it and they sign up, how do I make sure that I know I can keep in contact with them, but if I make contact with somebody, how can I keep doing the follow-up and not get bogged down? A friend of mine, she loves the chase. She loves going out there, making cold calls, making connections, and signing people up. And we're meeting this next week, possibly looking at a partnership between her business and my business, that she would go ahead, she'd get the clients up to the point they're ready to sign, and I would do the paperwork and the management of these people. I appreciate you giving me the time to talk about my journey. Like I said, it's been a long, twisty road. I'm Cain Tyler, and I'm just getting started. I'll be 74 years old.
Awesome job. Thank you so much. I have a friend of mine, you may know him, he's local. He is an unabashedly bold salesperson who has a very good product. And one of the things he taught me was, it's hard to say no to a live body. And he will, in any conversation, it doesn't matter who it is, he will ask them if he can have 5 minutes at a time. Can we set an appointment? And he is just that blunt, I guess I would say. To me, it's like, whoa, I couldn't begin to do that. I want to establish a relationship. He starts the relationship and he thinks it's in 5 minutes, he can ask them for 5 minutes of their time. But most people will say sure, because they don't want to say no to a live body. Just a thought. All right, we're going to go around the room here and comments, questions, ideas, anything. TJ.
Good morning, Terry. Great presentation. Thank you for coming here. One of the things that you were talking about was how do you keep track of these people and make sure that you're following up and things like that. Do you have a CRM system?
I'm in the process of learning it. It's through the Now site,
Okay.
Now.site. And with that, it creates funnels. I've got landing pages that will do for me, and it has a CRM system in that. But it's a matter of now that I've settled down. So the past 2 years, 3 years have really been turbulent for me with moving and Steve's passing 27 days after we moved and that type of thing. That I'm ready to go ahead and just close the door, turn off the phone, and set myself up to learn the different things I need to do and get it out there.
Yeah, with the CRM system, there are some things that you want to look at to make sure that they exist in the CRM system. One of them is you want to make sure that it has a phone app so that your CRM is always with you and that it integrates with your contacts on your phone so that that way you're only having to put data in one time. But if you want, I can sit with you and I can help you learn your CRM system.
Thank you.
Hi Terry.
Hello.
Hi, it's Tara with Covered by Tara. To answer your question, I have heard before that it's a lot harder to turn a friend into a client than it is to turn a client into a friend. I've heard that before. So I actually wanted to ask about your magazine. So could you tell us more about it? You said this has been your marketing initiative then?
Right, Reminder Media puts together the magazine, and I purchased the cover inside, front and back covers of the magazine, plus the 2 recipe cards in there. And I've sent that out to St. Nancy, the president of the Daytona Chamber, and certain business leaders through the community. And I also, when I meet with people, I give them a copy of the magazine.
Hi Terry, wonderful presentation. It's Carlos over here. Good for you. I wanted to share with you, and I could hear you, how do I turn my relationships, because you've been out in the community, giving back, volunteering, which is building relationships. And when it comes to sitting down at a sales table and closing the deal, clearly that's not you. Stay in your lane, do what you do. So partnering with someone else, as you mentioned earlier, you have a colleague that you wanted to partner with, that they love going and chasing after the sale, and you're more of the, hey look, happy to do the paperwork, let me explain everything, let's figure out exactly what is the best fit for you, I think is totally where you should be. Not saying that you have to partner with other people that are in your industry. You can also partner with people outside of your industry. Fortunate for me, my background is hospitality. Almost everybody drinks, everybody's got to eat at one point or another. So if you do a cookie swap or something like this that offers also your services of a free consultation and then set up appointments that way, it's an opportunity for you just to steal away 5 minutes and do a presentation in a room with maybe just 5, 10 people, which I think is far more in your comfort zone.
Yes.
To, instead of going knocking door to door, you know, having those, trying to turn relationships into clients, partner with those relationships you already have built to find your client base, because they will edify you on what you're saying. And then you're introducing yourself to new people, which will be less, maybe less stressful for you. And like I said, find someone else to do that life for you. You can't be master of everything in your business. You've got to, one, realize what you're good at, you're great at. Keep doing it, you're only going to get stronger. Number 2, you're okay at, get a little advice. What you stink at, have somebody else do it. That is not your wheelhouse. For me, trying to figure out taxes, that's not what I do. I have somebody else do that for me.
Who else? Yeah, I totally agree with Carlos, because if it's something you're not good at, if you don't like to do, you'll push it off and push it off and push it off. And I did that. There's things. Saw accounting. I still do now. Should we say something? All right. Yeah, I did. You find somebody else to do it. Just have them do it. And if you're not good into cold calling, then find somebody who is. But I think you work off relationships. That's what you feed on, and you're really good at it, and you're good at talking with people just one-on-one. But it takes a long time to turn that particular relationship into a customer. But you need to, which means you need to have a lot of those connections. Anybody else? One over here.
I also found myself caught in what has been termed as analysis paralysis. I found that in my time with the Department of Transportation, I was very good at looking at say, a state statute, and from that, developing a Florida Administrative Code, writing policies and procedures. And that's where I really enjoy doing it. And I want to bring that over to setting up something as far as TCT Advantage in the 3 areas that I want to work in. The Legal Shield, the World Financial Group with the IULs, and through Owner's Choice with the Medicare and the AFLAC. But I don't want to just forever stay in that mode of just writing processes. I want to get out there and support the Social Security check.
Hey Terry, hey, great job. I think that the most important thing in sales is referrals, and for you with the relationships that you've built, referrals are that's the most fun part of sales, in my opinion. I did sales for 20 years, so I think that ways that you can go about that are just those touches with your current customers that you make. Those nice follow-up calls that you're making to make sure everything is going good, those are good times to ask for referrals. And that's going to fill that pipeline of new business where you don't have to go cold call. If you don't like it, it's probably not going to work. I mean, there's some truth to just cold calling. It's kind of like going to the gym. You just go do it and it feels better when you're done. But long-term success in sales is built through referrals and relationships. And I think you do very well at that. And the things that you're doing in the chamber and in groups like this and building your network are where those valuable relationships are going to come from. So I think that's one really great way that you can go after it without feeling like you're cold calling all day long, which is not fun. And I did it for a lot of years. So the other side of that is getting, spheres of influence in the community that can help you. And I would probably shoot for accountants and CPAs. I think those are great referral sources for you for what you do with your types of products that you can build that relationship with and become a trusted advisor with that CPA. Now they're sending you clients to meet with, and you're not having to cold call.
You use the term trusted advisor, and that's one of the things that I think I really need to promote myself more as a trusted advisor and somebody that they can go to, that I may not be able to help you directly, but I can give you a referral to somebody who can do the work and provide you the service that you need. When Tom was talking about it, I was thinking a lot of stuff they talk about B2B, business to business, and like Carlos said, I'm better at B2B, belly to belly. I want people to see the passion in my eye about what I'm offering them and what I can possibly help them with.
Hi, Terry. It's Natalia with Pixie Classic. Right here in the back.
The lights in my eyes, I can't see it.
Great presentation. And I just, I'm familiar with Legal Shield, and I'm also familiar with WFG. I'm from California, so those two things are very popular over there. So my question, I guess, do you have any other team members around the area? Because as far as I know, like WFG, they have like a group where they do presentation every week, and you can invite people to watch the presentation or like a meeting in the area over here. I'm not sure if they have those here.
WFG does not have a meeting in this area, but the person who brought me into WFG, he spends a lot of time out of the country and traveling. But I learned a lot through listening to those weekly WFG presentations and stuff. The only thing that I found that was difficult, because I was selected of one of the 100 of 8,000 associates to attend a special training session in Texas this past fall. And I looked around the room, and the person who is now a $10 million ring earner, which means he's earned $10 million in a floating 12-month period, he had a focus group that he used. He came through the medical field. He was also an immigrant from Africa. And so most of his associates are from the medical field, and they're black. My friend Echo Karis and I, we both attended that meeting in Texas, and we looked around the room, and we were the only pale faces in the room. I needed to really look at what kind of group can I focus on that would be beneficial for me to get involved with it. Because I know that if I invited a lot of people to these presentations, put on my Daniel, this $10 million earn, that they would look at him and they would hear his accent and they'd automatically think, oh, this is just a Nigerian scam. So I have to learn that presentation and be able to go ahead and do that presentation. I know I need to probably set up some small meetings or set up a podcast to where I can go ahead and invite people, and I would be the presenter and I would be the face of WFG in this area.
Yes, I think that will be a great idea. Since there's no group like that in the area, you'll be, it's an open field. This is the territory that you need to grab in, and you'll be the face of WFG and the legal sheet. I would suggest creating like a workshop or like a meeting, and you have so many support from the chamber, you have a lot of people support you, have them come, invite them, and it's just an informational workshop. It's for you not to convert them into becoming your customers, but let them understand what you're selling, your service, your presentation, so they can talk about your service to their friends and family. Don't think about this is just my personal experience as well. Tell them, present everything to them. If there's any new stuff, invite them again to a workshop and say, hey, there's another thing that is new I want to share with you. Let me practice this presentation. With that, you actually get your presentation much more, concise and precise, and it's your practice, your exercise. You become a pro, and you'll be able to explain what is WFG, what kind of products they have, what kind of success story that they had helped people. So I think you have a big, a good opportunity in this area because you're the only one. So, yeah. And I would love to sit down one-to-one with you and just kind of like help you out. And I work at the Ripple co-working space, and they have a conference room that they can rent out, and you can do workshop there.
Thank you. The chamber also has meeting facilities too. But what you're talking about there too is, I see me not compartmentalizing, this is Legal Shield, this is WFG, this is owner's choice. I see it as an umbrella to bring people in to really do an assessment of what their current conditions are, what their future needs are, and see what products that can really help them. And I don't see, like I said, if you buy an IUL through WFG, do you have your will and advance directives? Okay, I got my will before I belonged to Legal Shield, and it cost me $1,500. Now it's included in the membership for Legal Shield. So I see a way to, I guess you call it cross-pollinate or cross-sell without being in their face selling to them. It's showing them, here's a better way, here's a way that you can accomplish what you need.
Hi Terry, Keith, back from the unit, how are you?
I can see there.
Yeah, way
Mine's over there.
So sales is very, very, very tough, and you mentioned about turning friends into clients, clients into friends. 30 years ago I was a life insurance salesman when I left the military and was doing it for a while, and I was semi-successful at it. I had a nice little business, but I remember once I was probably in the top 5% of salespeople in my office. It was a big life insurance company, and I went to visit my mum and dad one day, just a surprise visit, and I walked in the living room, and there's one of my colleagues sitting there selling them life insurance. So I was very measured about my response there, but he got battered when I got into the office because he tried to sell insurance to my mum and dad. So it was very, very difficult. When I've known you for 10 years now, and you're eminently likable, and networking is your thing. And so, turning you into an attack dog of direct sales is, that might not be the thing for you. However, what I got from you today is that what you're trying to do is to build a reliable sales funnel. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I would do before I would say, look, let's do a podcast and let's do a letter, I would suggest to you that we had a look at actually segmenting your client base. Who are you actually selling to? There's an old saying which I've always found to be true, is you market to everybody, you will sell to nobody. So who is the person that you are trying to sell to? Who is the hero in this story? What are their needs and what are their wants? You talked about wills and estate planning. The other thing I wanted to mention, and we're kind of the reverse of this now, is I was in my mid-20s when I started selling life insurance, and I was told you will find it very, very difficult to sell to people 10, 20 years older than you, because they don't recognize you. And that actually ended up being true for me. I could sell to a lot of young families and people in their 30s, but once they got to 40s and stuff, they wouldn't listen to me because I didn't have that kind of credibility. So there's an element of mirroring in the clients. And so when you're talking about estate planning and all the problems that people are starting to get as they get older and protecting wealth and that kind of thing, that may be your market. But what I suggest is that we do a discovery meeting, have a sit down, and let's truly segment your audience and find out and get you laser focused on who is your perfect client. Because once you know who they are, we can do an analysis of where they live, who they are, how do they interact with the internet, how can you get them into a sales funnel, and then how can you create like a reliable conveyor belt of potential clients. You might need 50 conversations to get one sale, but we don't know that, so we've got to find out what that is, because then you just know how much activity you've got to do to get that one sale.
Thank you. The other thing I'm looking at, more than just clients, is I would love to go ahead and build a team and support them and use my strengths as planning and that type of thing, and helping them develop their business by having a team of agents under me.
Very cool. Anything else? Anybody else got a question, comment, idea? All right, let's give her a hand. Beautiful job. So we are here every Wednesday, and next week we have, I think CDB is going to be here, right?
Yep.
Next Wednesday morning. So plan to be here 9 o'clock. We have free coffee for you, obviously, and great conversation. So we're going to bring up the lights. We're going to finish this up and have the voluntary mandatory